for you. So we're gonna start recording now.
Are you supposed to feel like kind of tensed at all?
So that's a good question. So the tension comes at the very last moment of the technique. Okay, so everything in between should be just enough energy or just enough muscle to keep things online, and the initial explosion of muscle to send it off in its place. Okay, so like for instance, if I'm going with this punch here, I want to have a sudden explosion here. My hips drive it, my arm starts going forward, and then just enough to keep it on track, on track, on track. And then when I get to the very end, I tense it down again. So that what I do is I create all this connection between my fist, elbow, shoulder, hip, floor.
Okay.
That's one thing about Shotokan. We use the floor to generate the power. So, hold on a second, I gotta plug this in. So in order to because they were such smaller people than like the Europeans and even the mainland folks, the Okinawans needed to find better ways to generate power. So a lot of the Chinese styles, they tend to use a lot of circular motions and a lot of techniques to beat you down, whereas the Okinawans, since they were usually outnumbered and smaller, they really only wanted to hit you once because they wanted to go on to the next guy. So the idea is use the floor to generate power from the floor to the hip, to the shoulder, to the arm, and then all the way to the end of the punch. Okay, and then when you actually make strike, all you have to do is change the distance when you make the punch, rather than just putting it right on somebody's face. You can go through them by just tensing all the way through them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's take this into a stance now. So back up to as far back as you can go. Okay. And I want you to put your left foot out. Okay. So this first one is called a front stance. So front stance is really meant to just convey energy forward and backwards. Okay, so energy is going forward as I step through this. So put your left foot out. Okay, so front knee is bent over the big toe, and the width of this stance is about the width of my shoulders and hips. Okay, the length of this stance is about 2 shoulder widths long.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah. So we train in this lower stance. Doesn't mean I fight here, but I train here to build my legs. Okay, I tend to fight here, but when I want to hit somebody, boom, I go to that longer, and then I come back to the shorter stance again. So the training aspect of Shotokan, we train long and low, but we don't necessarily fight there. Okay.
I see.
All right, so let's take this into a front stance, and let's do this with our punch. So put that punch out to the stomach, which is chewed on, and we're going to step forward, squeeze our thighs together, and go to the next one, punching chewed on. There you go, good. Now, how many steps forward do you figure you got? 3? Before you run out of room?
Yeah, maybe 3.
Okay, 2.
Let's see here.
There you go, 3. All right, let's go backward. Same thing. 1, 2, and 3. Good. You have more room to go backwards?
Maybe 1 more.
Okay. 4. All right. Good. Almost. All right. So we'll stick with 3. So go back to left leg forward, and give yourself maybe 6 inches to the back. Okay, let's go forward again. Let's punch face this time, Jodan. Squeeze your thighs in, move a little quicker this time. Pretend like you're trying to stomp the bug that's maybe 2 feet in front of you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, going backwards, same thing, punching face. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. All right, let's do 3 forward, 3 back. Let me watch you. Itch, knee, thumb. Okay, backwards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so a couple things that I'm seeing. So when you punch from here to here, make it a straight line, like it's on a string, straight line to it. Sometimes you're kind of coming in around like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other thing is, let me ask you, when you're in your previous style, did your backside hand usually end up higher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually higher, more of a boxing stance.
More of a boxing? Okay. So what I'd like you to do is keep this elbow less than 9 or more than 90 degrees. So not up here like this, or not parallel to the floor, maybe just slightly down and sitting right on your hip joint, or your hip bone right here. Okay. So the wrist is right on top of the hip bone, not up by your floating rib. Okay. So you see that soft tissue between your floating rib and your hip bone? That's where your wrist should be. Because as you start lifting it up here, you can feel there's tension that's building up in your shoulder and in your bicep, right? So you want to have it nice and loose so I can really toss it out there nice and quick.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so let's try again, punching stomach. Okay, try going straight line with the punch and also leaving this hand down in by your hip bone.
Moving forward?
Moving forward, yep. 1, 2, 3. Good. Going backwards. Make sure your front knee is bent. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. So it's a little tense. Try and be a little looser when you're punching. So one way to help you with that is just kind of swing your arms right now. Just swing your arms, and then when I count, I want you to take one of your hands, whatever it is, bring it to your side and toss it out as hard as you can, but don't have it too tense. Okay. 1. Swing it again. 2. There you go. So kind of like that to kind of stay loose in between. Because the idea is as you start tensing up in the middle, you're slowing yourself down. Okay. The sudden explosion tension is what you need. But remember, everything that you're throwing that way, you want to keep going that way at speed. So once you start engaging those muscles like your bicep, which is a pullback muscle, like your shoulder, which is a pullback muscle, or your back, once you start engaging those, you're slowing down your speed to get that way. Okay, so you're trying, what's your background? Are you an engineering kind of guy or a mechanical kind of guy? Okay, so MV, right? You want to keep your velocity at a highest velocity along with your given mass. You're not going to have any more mass. The only way to add anything to it is to put more mass driving forward, right? So keep the velocity high with a given mass, and that'll have your impact. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we've done a front stance. We've done a chokozuki to the stomachs. Okay, do it with me. Punching stomach, chokozuki. Punching face, jodan, chokozuki. Okay, we've got lunge punch to the stomach. Stepping forward left. Stepping forward right, and one more left. Now jodan, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, good. All right, so now we're going to take and learn a rising block. Okay, so this one here we use in beginner level for blocking, but in the more advanced level, I throw it away for blocking and I use it only for attacks. Okay. What I like about it in blocking is it keeps it kind of simple for blocking things to the face. But once we learn that you can make this a block to the face, and you've done this before in your other style, blocking this to the face rather than this creating an opening, right? But so this rising block is a very basic way to create a block to the face. So I want you to just take your left hand out, and I want you to, let me get a little closer to you here. All right, so take your left hand and bring it up, or your right hand and bring it up underneath your left. And then turn it over this side. Yep. So the center of the wrist is at the center of your forehead. Okay, and slightly forward here. Okay, not too far forward, not too far back. Just kind of so you can, so that this shoulder is forward this way. Okay, if you have it too far this way, it's very easy for me to just knock it down when I punch that way. Okay, so again, it comes back the same way it came out, so turns as you bring the other hand up, twist it. There you go. So the twist is what makes the impact. And you can imagine if you put this underneath somebody's chin, it would be a nice way to take their head off, right? So, yes. And with this pulling action, you could have their hand and put that underneath their chin. So they've got action this way, pulling, action that way, going underneath their chin. Okay, so here we go. Again, it comes back the same way it came out, crossing, twist, crossing, twist, crossing, twist, crossing, twist, crossing, twist. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. All right, so let's take this back here. Same thing, put your left leg forward, do a rising block. So this is what we call our kihon, or our basics, and we'll do these in line work, usually 5 forward, 5 back. Since you're limited, we'll keep it to 3. But we'll train these and drill these basic moves over and over again through our stance, and also train our legs to have nice and long stances and strong stances. So stepping forward, 1. Okay, and as you do this, open your hip up just a little bit. So it looks like you're good there. But be careful, watch if I open my hip too far, see how my knee comes in?
Yes.
So keep that knee. Don't let your hip open more than 45, or actually the right answer is don't let your hip open more than you can support with your front leg. So as this, if you've got tight hips, and even this is as far as you can go, and then as you open it, see how it starts to move? That's not good. So you want to keep your knee more forward. 2. 3. Okay, going backwards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. Backwards. 1, 2, and 3. All right, good. Let me watch you again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. Backwards. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. So one thing I like is you've got a good cross of your hands in the center. Okay. So think of this as if somebody had a hold of my arm and I was trying to get away from them, I could use this, drop down, use this to maybe extract their arm away from my arm. Okay. If you do this outside like this, number one, the punch usually comes down the middle, right? So you're going to miss. And this here kind of is a good cover in the middle, okay? As you're moving through, this is a good cover in the middle, okay? All right, any questions so far?
On the block, is the hammer part of the fist, is that facing the sky?
So for this one, it's like this, yes.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and the block part happens from the wrist down to the elbow. Yeah. Okay. But
Okay. So
you can make adjustments to this if you're making it a strike. You can make that elbow more prominent if you like, or you can. I usually like to use the bony part of the arm on the hammer fist side of it to go underneath the chin.
I see.
Yeah, exactly there. Yeah. Now, when we're making partner drills, we usually will hit with this part, which is the top part, hit with that, and then twist it at the very end so we don't just go bone on bone.
Okay, the meaty part.
Okay. Yeah, just to be nice to our partner. But when we're doing it for real, you know, bone to bone is a good way to train with it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I think obviously you can tell it's really awkward to me. I'm gonna have to like take it from my mind and put it in my body.
Yeah. Well, that's my 47 years of karate. So yeah. Taking it from my mind and putting it into my body. And you know, you're right. It doesn't come overnight, and it's definitely something you have to train over and over again, so your body just does, and yes. So you don't have to think about it. We've got a couple folks that are trying to make their black belt, and that's one of the things that their mastery of the basics is one of the keys to getting their first degree black belt, and that's kind of the things that they're working on now. So they've got their laundry list of things to work on, and I send them away after they do their private lessons. Come back when you think you've got a couple of these knocked off, and we'll do your next one. So then they come back and they either they've got it or no, you didn't quite understand what I said. So nice. It's a lifelong training, that's for sure. All right, so the next thing we're gonna work on is a front snap kick. Okay, so this one, could you maybe take one of your chairs and turn it around, and you could use it for balance?
I might be able to. Massage chair.
Yeah, so just grab the side of the chair here. Okay, so front snap kick. This is the way it's going to be executed. It's going to be point the knee, foot is up. We're going to go out and back. See how the foot gets pointed with the ball, the foot back, pointed out, and the toes pulled back, and then it comes back, and then goes back down again. And each of that has a little bit of a hip tilt to it at the very end. So let's just start with a knee lift. Okay, let me go back a little bit more so you can see my feet. So what I want to do is I want to pick it up all in one piece and have the foot parallel to the floor and down. Okay, why don't you use your left leg? And just feet even with each other right now.
Even?
There you go. One. And down. And let's actually have our hand up. Build good habits. So whenever we're doing techniques, I like to make sure the hands are up in a I can protect myself position. One. And down. Well, you got some good flexibility too. And down. 3. Down. 4. Down. 5. Down. Now let's go kick out. So we're going to do in 2 counts, or actually 3 counts. We're going to lift up, kick out and back, and then put the foot down on the 3rd count. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's do all 1 count. 1, 2. This looks pretty natural for you. 3, 4, 5. All right, good. Now let's do the other leg. All right. So let me ask you this: when you were doing your other training, did you kick the bag? Did you kick people? How did you develop your kicks?
Bag, people, air.
Okay. All right. So so you understand the part about bringing the bringing the toes back and kicking with the ball of the foot. Now, did you guys do a thrust, or was it more of was it a snap?
I'll say both. I mean, it's kind of taught both ways. I mean, you have spearing action with the ball of your foot as you're demonstrating.
Yeah.
Then it would be a snap as well.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it depended.
Okay. Yep. No, that's a good answer. I know there's some styles that don't ever do a snap, like Koikon style doesn't do snap. And one thing I noticed about them is they got all got bad knees. Because they blew their knees out all the time because they kept locking their front kick out. So yeah, we want to, when you do the snap, by the way, just for protection purposes, always keep a little bit of bend in your leg. Same thing with the punch too. Okay, so never have a fully straightened out arm this way. Have just a little bit of a bend in the arm when you make this punch, and maybe even a slight downward angle of the pinky side when you're making this punch. So not upward angle with the pinky, slightly down with the pinky. What I like about that is it lets me really tense this lat muscle.
Okay.
And it also, if you think about it anatomically, this diagonal style fist fits in this curve inside of the diaphragm here. So it kind of fits in between the ribs from one side to the other.
Okay, so not fully horizontal, just a little bit of a turn.
Yeah, just a little bit downward side with the pinky. So generally speaking, even in the blocks that we'll do that are downward, the pinky side wants to be slightly down. Okay. All right, so let's go back to right leg now. So break it into 1 count, lifting 1. Bring this hand up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so each time you do this, sink a little bit into your base leg. Okay. All right, so now let's lift and kick, and then put it down 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's do all 1 count. Pitch, knee, thumb, sheet, go. All right, nice. So one of the things I like about the way you're doing this is you're lifting the knee all the way up before you start kicking. A lot of folks will do this. They'll start kicking before the knee gets lifted up, and you can see how it like scoops.
Yes.
Like that, where the knee is coming up after you kick. So I like the delay. And the other part of it that I like too is you've got a good pull inside of here, which makes that whip. Okay, so bringing that ankle back into your buttocks when you lift gives it a nice whip. Okay, all right, so let's put the chair back. Let's do this in a front stance now. All right, so left leg forward, hands are up. Okay, so let's stepping forward. So same sort of thing. When you kick center, kick stomach, and then we're going to put our foot down with our knee bent in a forward position. So we're going to step through it and forward. 1, 2. So palms slightly up. There you go. 3.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So there you go. Good. All right. So turn around. Turn around. There you go. Now just go back the other way. 1. Keep your body posture tall. Pull your back a little bit between your shoulder blades. Pull those together just a little bit. There you go. Knee. I like that posture better. Some. Good. And turn around. Okay, good. All right. So when you're doing this kick, I could see you're watching my hands, right?
Yes.
So when I kick, this elbow is connected to this hip by a squeeze, right? So watch, just as I step forward, look. See how that arm moves?
Yes.
See how that arm moves? So same thing when I kick. When I kick, this hip comes forward, so does my arm. Okay? So don't do this. See how I'm leading with this? It's kind of a tell. So this way, it just comes with naturally. And so my general feeling that I like to tell students is, think of, if I have my index fingers here, they're always pointing at the guy's face, no matter what. Don't let the hand come in. Don't let it go outside. Don't let it drop. Keep them both here, here, here. So the one that's in the front's a little bit higher than the one in the back. A little bit higher than the one in the back here. Okay, so let's do some more kicks. Ready? Hitch. Knee. A little longer. Thumb. Okay. Turn. 1, 2, 3. And turn. All right. So if you run out of space, here's one thing that I like to do. Think of it as I always want to go in when I deliver my technique. So if I go this way, let's say the wall's right here, right? And I can't take a full step without running into the wall. What I should do is pull my front foot back, and then I can go in. Okay? If I'm going backwards and I run into the wall here, bring my back foot up and push this way so that I end up in the same spot. Okay? So using your footwork to make your room just as big. Okay? It's one of the things that I do when I tell people about training, like if they're out of town in a hotel or something like that. You can do all these techniques in a space of about 3 feet square.
Yes, sir.
So it's a good way to be able to train even in a small space. You can do it in your kitchen or even in the room you're in there where you don't really have a whole lot of space to work with. Okay. All right.
Yes,
so let's see, what do we got? Another 7 minutes. Okay. So let's take all of these together. Okay. Actually, I want to add one more. So this is called a downward block. So from here, take your left hand out, right hand on your hip, bring it across. No, your left hand or your right hand across, and push down. Right hand push down. There you go. Lift this up. Left hand across, push down. There you go. Good, good, good. So think of it as if I'm kicking you stomach, you're going to go, boom. That's it. That's it. Just push down. I bet you've done this one before in your other. So just pushing down each time. It's just not, you're probably not used to using 2 hands.
Yeah, just a little different version. Yes.
Okay. So again, left hand out, right hand over the top, scrape the top of the arm, push down.
Can't get my brain to think.
There you go. Good. Then pull it back. Good. Then bring it up. Over the top. And put over the top. All the way over. Bring those elbows together. Elbows together. Elbows together. Even more, even more, even more. Keep that right hand out. There you go. Now push down.
Wow.
Good. There you go. Left hand up. Across. Elbows together. Let's see how close my elbows are together.
I don't have that range of motion. My gosh.
Push down. So the idea here is I want to get this elbow at least to the center of my body. because then I can use these muscles, these bigger muscles in my back instead of just my tricep. This is just tricep, right?
Yes.
Here I can use my lats, my rhomboids, and the rest of my back muscles and pull this elbow down by pushing it down like this. Yeah.
And once again, you're not locking out, right?
Right. So again, the L, it's actually a curve here because I want to create a little bit of if somebody were to kick me, I'd want them to slide off. Okay. If I went straight here like this, if I was a little early, they could punch me, or they could hit my fist and kind of really collapse me. Or if I'm a little late, I could still it'll still kind of slide off the arm. Okay. So again, let's do this a couple more times. Ready? Left hand out, crossing. So kind of just stack your elbow on top of the other one and then push down.
Can't reach it, to be honest with you.
All right. Go as far as you can toward the center. There you go. Push down. Good. Bring it up. Cross. Push down. That's good. You're doing good. Okay. Up. Across. Down. Up. Across. Down. Up. Crossed. Down. This is called a downward block. Up. Across. Down.
Cross.
There you go. And down. Up. Across. Down. Okay, again, don't forget, try and get that elbow. So you're going to have to, here's a good stretch for you. Take this arm and just bring it across the body like this.
Believe it or not, I do these.
Yeah. And then also do it with your elbow tipped up too. So see how vertical my arm is? Here.
Yes.
How vertical that arm is? That's where you should try and see if you can get that way and pull it in tight. So you probably just tighten your back there and your shoulder. Same thing the other side.
Yeah, my chest
or
is
out this way.
pretty tight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take that down block. We got about 2-3 more minutes. Let's take that down block and we'll start with a down block. Step out. So ready, yoy. So feet apart, stepping out with that down block. So right hand out, left hand to your ear. Step out with your left leg, downward block. 1. Good. Now let's step forward, lunge punch. 1. Jodan, face. 2, 3. Backwards, stomach level. 1, 2, 3. Stepping forward, rising block. 1. Crossing the arms. Open the hip. 2, 3. Backwards. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that down block again from here. Okay, bring our hands up. Front snap kick stomach. 1, 2, 3. Now let's turn. Take your left leg, squeeze it in, and end your left leg behind you forward again. Do a down block with your left hand. Good. There you go. Hands up again. 3 front snaps. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Take your left leg again. Squeeze it in. Left hand down block toward me.
Wow.
Left hand to your ear. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Good. And then yummy. Finish. And bow. Awesome. All right, that's our 45 minutes. Get you started. What I'll do is I'll send you the video to this, so you can train it on your own a little bit.
All right, great.
when you get a few moments. I didn't get it started right away, but I think we covered pretty much everything in that last 5-minute portion of it. Okay.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, any questions for me right now?
I don't think so. I think it's a matter of looking at the videos, kind of trying to digest it and put it, get my body to do those things.
Okay. All right, if you'd like to watch our next class, we're going to start in another 15 minutes or so. You're welcome to watch it just to see what it's like and so on. It's definitely going to be way above you right now, but this is I think this is going to be good to get you going and get you ready to be part of the regular class when we get to January. I just got a note from the folks at the school